And my little, I thought this actually what looks like a car wheel more, doesn't it? But no, it's a spaceship. Sorry, it is. Had my spaceship covering my lens. Woo! You know, I'm constantly reminded how poorly this world treats women. And we are, we have, I constantly say, and I'm a mother, and you're doing this to a mother. And they're like, yeah, you're a dime a dozen. Really? Really? So that's how you treat women who carry your children, who take your seed and implant it in us, and then we carry that seed for 9 months is what we do for you. You're like, well, you didn't carry my seed. Well, you know what? Thank God for that. And I'm just reminded in this book just how little we think of women. I'm so constantly reminded. In the last video, I just discovered all that last night again with the driveway, and 7 bags of leaves just in my driveway. When you see it was bare on the video 3 days ago and 2 days ago, last night. And I have the evidence on the video of where they picked them up and vacuumed them from the same problem neighbor I've had for a very long time. Just an arrogant SOB. And so it's a constant reminder to me of how little we think of the ones that have the seed, right? We have the seed. We carry your children. Just mountains of disrespect, verbally, behaviorally, psychologically, just mountains of disrespect for our women. We can see it everywhere. It's everywhere. Everything that you read, everything that you touch, everywhere. A mountain of disrespect for our women. El Hollywood. Remember where we were? El Hollywood was Billy's first real club, a favorite hangout of Trujillo's, my mother tells me, when the manuscript is almost complete. So this manuscript said that was one of Trujillo's favorite places to hang out. That was the footnote there. Imaginate. In those days, El Hollywood was the it place to be in Bonnie. It was Alexander, Cafe Atlantico, and Jet Set rolled into one. The lights, the opulent decor, the guapos in the fine threads, the women striking their best bird of paradise poses, the band upon the stage like a visitation from a world of rhythm, the dancers so caught up in the planting of heel you would have thought they were bidding farewell to death itself. It was all here. Beely might have been out of her league, couldn't order drinks or sit in the high chairs without losing her cheap shoes, but once the music started, well, it didn't matter. A corpulent accountant put his hand out, and for the next 2 hours, Beely forgot her awkwardness, her wonderment, her trepidation, and danced. Dios mío, did she dance! Dancing cafe out of the sky and exhausting partner after partner. Even the band leader, a salt and pepper veterano from a dozen campaigns throughout Latin America and Miami, shouted her out, La negra esta encendida. Encendida. La negra esta encendida. Encendida. La negra está encendida indeed. Here at last is her smile. Burn it into your memory. You won't see it often. Everybody mistook her for a ballerina cubana from one of the shows, and couldn't believe that she was Dominican like them. It can't be. No lo pareces, etc., etc. And it was in this whirligig of pasos, guapos, and aftershave that he appeared. She was at the bar waiting for Tina to return from the cigarette break. Her dress wrecked, her perm kicking her arches like they'd been given a starter course in foot binding. He, on the other hand, was the essence of relaxed cool. Here he is, future generation of De Leons and Cabrals, the man who stole your founding mother's heart, who catapulted her and hers into diaspora. Dressed in a Rat Pack ensemble of black smoking jacket and white pants, and not a dot of sweat on him, like he'd been keeping himself in refrigeration. Handsome in that louch, pot-bellied mid-40s. Hollywood producer sort of way, which with pouched gray eyes that had seen and didn't miss much. Eyes that had been scoping Beely for the better part of an hour, and it wasn't like Beely hadn't noticed. The nigger was some kind of baller. Everybody in the club was paying tribute to him, and he rocked enough gold to have ransomed Atahualpa. Atahualpa. Let's just say their first contact was not promising. How about I buy you a drink, he said, and when she returned away como uno ruda, he grabbed her arm hard and said, "Where are you going, Morena?" And that was all it took. A bile le salió el lobo. First, she didn't like to be touched. Not at all. Not ever. Second, she was not a morena. Even the car dealer knew better. Called her India. And third, there was the temper of hers. When Baller twisted her arm, she went from 0 to violence in under 0.2 seconds. Shrieked, "No, me toques!" Threw her drink, her glass, and then her purse at him. If there had been a baby nearby, she would have thrown that too. Then let him have it with a stack of cocktail napkins and almost 100 plastic olive rapiers. And when those were done dancing on the tile, she unleashed one of the great Street Fighter chain attacks of all time. During this unprecedented fusillade of blows, the gangster hunkered down and didn't move except to deflect the stray chop away from his face. When she finished, he lifted his head as though out of a foxhole and put a finger to his lips. "You missed a spot," he said solemnly. Well, it was nothing but a simple encounter. The fight she had with La Inca upon her return was far more significant. La Inca waiting up for her with a belt in her hand. And when Beely stepped into the house, worn out from dancing, La Inca, lit by the kerosene lamp, lifted the belt in the air, and Beely's diamond eyes locked onto her. The primal scene between daughter and mother played out in every country of the world. "Go ahead, Ma," Beely said. But La Inca could not do it, her strength leaving her. "Hija, if you ever come home late again, you'll have to leave this house," said, and Beely saying, "Don't worry, I'll be leaving soon enough." That night, La Inca refused to get into bed with her, sleeping in her rocking chair, not speaking to her the next day either, going off to work by herself, her disappointment looming above her like a mushroom cloud. No question, it was her madre she should have been worried about, but for the rest of the week, Beely found herself instead brooding on the stupidity of that gordo azaroso who, in her words, had ruined her whole night. Almost every day she found herself recounting the details of the confrontation to both the car dealer and Archimedes. But with each telling, she added further outrages, which were not exactly true, but seemed accurate in spirit. "Un bruto," she called him. "Un animal. How dare he try to touch me?" As though he were someone, "Ese poco hombre, ese mamahuevo." "So he hit you?" The car dealer was trying to pin her hand down to his leg, but failing. "Maybe that's what I need to do." "And you'd get exactly what he got," she said. Archimedes who had taken to standing in a closet while she visited him, just in case the secret police burst in, pronounced the gangster a typical bourgeois type, his voice reaching her through all that fabric that the car dealer had brought her and which Beely stored at his place. "Is this a mink fur?" he asked. He asked her. "Rabbit," she said morosely. "I should have stabbed him," she said to Constantina. "Muchacha, I think he would have stabbed you." "What the hell do you mean?" "I'm just saying, you talk about him a whole lot." "No," she said hotly, "it's not like that at all." "Then stop talking about him." Tina glanced down at a pretend watch. 5 seconds. It must be a record. She tried to keep him out of her mouth, but it was hopeless. Her forearm ached at the oddest of moments, and she could feel his hangdog eyes on her everywhere. His hangdog eyes on her everywhere. The next Friday was a big day at the restaurant. The local chapter of the Dominican Party was having an event, and the staff busted their ass from early to late. Beely, who loved the bustle, showed some of her magus for hard work, and even Jose had to come out of the office to help cook. Jose awarded the head of the chapter with a bottle of what he claimed was Chinese rum, but which in fact was Johnny Walker with the label scraped off. The higher echelons enjoyed their chow fun immensely, but their campo underlings poked at the noodles miserably and asked over and over, that's campo, over and over if there was any arroz con habichuelas, of which, of course, there was none. All in all, the event was a success. You never would have guessed there was a dirty war going on, but when the last of the drunks was shuffled onto his feet and ushered into a cab, Beely, feeling not the least bit tired, asked Tina, "Can we go back?" "Where?" "To El Hollywood." "But we have to change." "Don't worry, I brought everything." And before you knew it, she was standing over his table. One of his dinner companions said, "Hey, Dionisio, isn't that the girl que te dio una pele last week?" The baller nodded glumly. His buddy looked her up and down. "I hope for your sake she's not back for a rematch. I don't think you'll survive." "What are you waiting for?" the baller asked. "The bell? Dance with me." Now it was her turn to grab him and drag him onto the pista. He might have been a dense slab of tuxedo and threw, but he moved like an enchantment. "You came looking for me, didn't you?" "Yes," she said, and only then did she know. "I'm glad you didn't lie. I don't like liars." He put his finger under her chin. "What's your name?" She tore her head away. "My name is Hypatia Belicia Cabral." "No," he said with the gravity of an old school pimp. "Your name is beautiful." Okay, I think that's all I'm going to read because there's a big long next section and very long footnotes. So we'll read that tomorrow. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thanks for joining me here in the reading room. And yeah, this is by Junot Diaz. Or June, I think it's Junot Diaz. Oh, oh my gosh, The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. Is that what it says? Oh my gosh. I don't even have that correctly correct. That's not even correctly correct. Have a wonderful Halloween. I will be passing out cans of Pepsi. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Sometimes I like it. I do. Gets the gases out of the belly. Wasn't sure if that was buttoned. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thanks for joining me here in the reading room. I'm the teacher. This has been a Halloween classroom.